Yeah, just start the music. But instead of having it full blast and then fading it down, just put it to the level where we'll be normally when talking. Or whatever.
We're good then.
Alright, great. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to PonyTonite. This is the show where a bunch of friends get together and talk random topics of discussion with your favorite brony. It's really early. It's literally 1 p.m. We have not done a podcast at 1 p.m. in a very long time.
Early.
Thank you so well, to me it is. To me it is.
Jesus Christ.
Our guest is PJ tonight, or as he's known on YouTube, Master PJ55. Fantastic laser artist, a pioneer, you could say, in the field of laser graphics. You might have seen him at various horse conventions throughout the years, putting on his impressive laser light shows. He was on the documentary Bronies, the extremely unexpected fans, or adult fans of My Little Pony. Good to see you, PJ. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know,
great.
Doing a thing.
And where you living right now? In the Netherlands, right?
Yep, that's right.
Which explains the time. This is why we're streaming right now. It's what, 9 p.m. your time? Somewhere around there?
I'm not the best at times. I think it's about...
I'm not the best at times.
You don't know what...
I think it's like 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m.
Yes, you are an hour ahead of me. It is 9 p.m.
All right, PJ. So, like every other guest on this show, I want you to take me back to the very beginning. Let me know when you got into the horse fandom, and then when you started producing content for it.
Sorry for that. I'm back.
Oh, did you not hear me?
Oh, no, sorry, Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I could, my friend. PJ, I want you to take me back to the very beginning. Let me know when you got into the horse fandom, and tell me when you started or decided to start creating content for it.
Let me see. I think I started when I was listening. I was just browsing YouTube, I guess, and I just found some music, and you know, I just found some horse music basically, and it was I think Pinkie Pie Swear or something like that, and it sounded really cool. So I was like, wow, that's actually, why would someone spend so much time making, you know, music about a show that's for girls? I guess because that's what I didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. So I saw that there was lots of related videos, and I saw that there were just so much content out there, and I was like, something is off. This can't be right. And I saw that there was hilarious YouTube poops and stuff like that, and I was like, you know, these can't be made like by just young females and stuff like that. You know, I was like, this has to be something. So I learned that there was something like bronies out there, and I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. So I got a little bit curious after all, and I decided to give it a go, you know, give the show a watch, because I kind of had to laugh about it, honestly, because I thought it was really stupid. And I watched this show, and I just really liked it, and I watched an entire season. So I just got really hooked to it, and I was like, yeah, it's actually not that bad, and you know, it's actually kind of fun. And so I learned about Facebook groups being like, you know, brony Facebook groups existing, and they started coming and popping up. So I started to join one to see what people would be talking about and what they would be doing. Right. So I found some musicians and some other people, and I eventually found out Alex S., who was the biggest, you know, brony musician back then. Who we still joke about because of that. And well, eventually I just started to, like, because I was doing lasers, I thought like, hey, maybe I should just make something myself just for the laughs of it. And I did that, and I posted it somewhere, and people found it really cool, and it got a lot of attention. So people were like, hey, do you have an alias or something? I was like, alias? What do you mean? So they started like asking me questions like, what is your favorite OC, or what is your favorite pony, and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, well, that's Final Sketch. And so they were like voting for names, and they had like a topic running about what name they should give me, and then this name came out of it, LaserPon3.
Oh, that's cool. So they gave you.
Yeah, I didn't make it up myself.
Wow. That's cool. So you've been doing the laser thing for a very long time, and I got to say, this is so interesting to me. I've never come across anybody who does this kind of.
Oh, there's a few.
I guess art. or whatever, or this field. Like I guess, you know, I've been to like rock shows when I was younger, and they had lasers or whatever. I'd never been to a laser rock show or anything of this nature, but I thought it was really cool when I saw your shit. Now, obviously, you've been doing this long before you've been into Pony, right?
Yeah, I have. Before that, I used to do it just commercially and just for fun. Like, I was into anime back then. You know, that's when I really started.
Right.
And that's when I was just kind of just messing around and sometimes doing some work. Sometimes just doing a little test thingy to see if something would work. And, you know, that's how I used to work. That's the way I do it. That's how I can afford to do projects that wouldn't make me profit, because I would learn a lot during the making of them. And then I could use them in commercial projects. Like the knowledge. But the thing was, there's actually a few more out there who I also discovered that started doing it. Like, I'm not sure if I'm, as far as I'm aware, I was the first, because I didn't see anybody else doing it back then. But I knew a few others started coming into the whole game pretty quick. Like, there's Felix, and there's Brony Beam Shows, which stopped doing Brony Beam Shows, but he makes really cool shit as well. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a few others. But I met some people who do stage, like, you know, so many people out there.
So PJ, hold on a second here. So I want to know how a kid gets into this. Like, how do you obtain like the equipment to do this? Who introduced you to this? Like, most kids, PJ, pick up a violin or play a piano or go play sports. What the hell? How did this even come about, man?
Well, first of all, I don't see many kids picking up a violin, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Something more normal. You know.
Okay. So before all this,
whatever. You say you're not normal.
I'm a weird, crazy.
Yeah,
he's weird, but see, this is the thing: the weird shit and the weird people, they end up innovating and creating the greatest works, right?
Well, sometimes, not always.
Most of the
sometimes they're just really spaghetti. And well, anyway.
Well, those are the autists. Those are different people. Let's not get into that. But about you.
So how I started, like, I used a lot of mechanics. I wanted to do something with mechanical engineering.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I just, you know, you probably know what this is, but it's a pick and place machine. I love seeing just mechanics at work, like things that come alive, you know, not just on the screen anymore. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I know what I'm gonna do when I'm done with high school. And then suddenly I was browsing YouTube one day, and it was like in the early days of YouTube. I think 2006, maybe. I don't know, like just really early. I saw that there was something like laser projectors, and like I remember seeing laser shows on TV, like just a couple of beams, and I was like, all right, you know, cool, but you know, that's it. You know, there's nothing else to it. And I saw that you could make animations with these things, and I was like, wow, that's cool. But it was really basic stuff what I saw. And so this guy that showed me this video, he uploaded the video. He was Dutch. He was actually from my country. And what happened? Well, he was really into anime. So I was just getting into anime back then. I'm kind of a late player to the whole thing, I guess, because nobody really that was into it. And I went to my first convention. I made the step to go to my first convention, and I met this guy, this exact guy. And actually, because I messaged him, because I was wondering if he went to these kind of conventions, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to this one. You can meet up if you want." So I met him, and I just started talking to him about how it just works and what makes someone do this. Like, it's kind of what you guys are asking me now. And we became friends over the course of time, and he actually showed me this working in real life, and I was like, wow, it's amazing. It's like enchanting, because it looks way better on the screen. It's something you have to experience to get the full, you have to really be there to see it, get the entire experience. So I wanted to do it, but it was so expensive. I had no money,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it must be like thousands of fucking dollars to get all this shit going.
Hold on, that's not the thing. That's not the case. It can be $10,000s of dollars. It can be $100,000. Yes, it's all about how far you scale something. But yes, it was still very expensive. We're still talking in the hundreds. So the software is really expensive, actually. That's actually the major bottleneck. I didn't have money for that. So
can you pirate it? Is this software piratable?
No, you can't, because you need actual, like a controller. You need like a device, basically, that interfaces between your projector and stuff like that.
Okay.
And those are proprietary hardware. It's really difficult. Like there's ways to do it, but it's really nasty to be able to do it yourself. Right. So I decided, instead of like that, he's basically showed me a way to build something on the cheap, and I wasn't very technical, or still had to learn a lot of stuff, and I failed. So I decided to instead. Well, I failed because things that he listed me, they didn't exist anymore back then. They were just too old. So I decided to make content for him, and I made stuff for him and sent it back and forth, and basically figured out my own techniques and ways to do stuff without having the actual proper equipment. And I sent it to him, and he just showed a picture of it working, or a video, and he would send me back and forth files. And eventually I learned about a forum and started posting the content for people to grab and just keep and use for whatever they want. And people really appreciated that. And eventually there was like this company, a really big company, that said that the things I showed, they did this ages ago. It's not very impressive, but the fact that I had no actual equipment or previous expertise about this stuff, they were really impressed about it. So I started doing some little programming work for, application making, and mostly just the graphic making. And eventually they got interested in me, and they didn't even offer to say, okay, prove that it's you doing this, like not that you're just ripping files away from somewhere else or something.
Right, of course.
And we'll make you an offer. And they did. And they made me an offer for their software and their controlling equipment, which is really expensive. And because they really wanted more people to come into this whole industry kind of thing, and more younger players, and just
right. They want to make it more accessible, basically.
Well, not accessible. It's just they wanted more, talent, I guess, or something inside of the industry. They wanted to get something going. They saw something in the owner of the company saw something in me that he saw that he was when he was little, and he decided to make me this offer. And he actually held his promise, and he actually sent me a package on his expense. Like the most expensive thing they could possibly give me. They gave me the best. But I had no projector because they were also expensive. And I had to make content judging by a preview screen, basically. So I had to make content, just sell it off, freelancing, and I sold it off pretty cheap. So it took quite a while. And that's also how I gained contacts. And eventually they said, you're so good at this, like we can definitely tell that you are like, you know more about the software than us, Like I became really good, and eventually I got enough money to buy myself my first second-hand projector, and I was really lucky because the blue lasers were really expensive back then. Nowadays they don't cost shit. They're cheap as hell. You can get them for like $30.
Oh wow! Holy fuck!
Yes, just the diodes though. They're not complete systems, but back then, those diodes used to cost maybe $999.
What
they could be bought, yes. But this was even before the diodes. These were like more complex systems. They were really a lot weaker, and they were in the 1,000 range for just blue. So people were begging to get like the color blue in their laser to get the full color on their projectors, because they had red, they had green, but they didn't have blue. So they got violet, which is really nasty looking. Eventually, so eventually, basically people figured out where they were getting these blue diodes from. People started salvaging them like crazy to make money. They would make more money buying the equipment where they could salvage it from, and then selling the components off, and then selling the projectors. They would make money doing this. So people kept buying these components and salvaging them, and the price plummeted like crazy. So I got lucky because that was the time I started buying my second-hand projector, and I got a really good deal. I paid 600 euros for it. 600 euros, which is about $750 or something right now. Well, something like that. It's still a lot of money though. So I started working further and just practicing, improving, and I started freelancing, and people started approaching me for work, and they're asking like, hey, could you do this for me? Could you make something for me? Could you draw this quick for my company? So basically I started delivering services to other companies that needed custom content because they didn't know how to do it, or they just couldn't do it properly. And this is what eventually I went to America and had an internship at the company that gave me this opportunity, and I wrote the manuals for their software. That was like much later on though. So I really, got a really good start, and it went really quick.
How old were you when you started on this?
When I went to America, I was 18. I started when I was, I think, 16 or something, I'd say. Yeah. So it's.
And how old are you now, PJ?
22.
22. Wow. So 6 years of work, and you've done all of this. Now, I was talking to Corp earlier, and he was telling me that, like you said just a few minutes ago, you've been invited to America a number of times to do work or whatever. And
didn't you do like a sports game or
yeah, something about the NBA or some shit?
I've done stuff for NBA basketball, but the thing is, because flying people over is expensive, and remember, even though these things involve a lot of money, it doesn't mean that they would carelessly pay for anything that's needed. That's not necessary. What they would usually do is they have a company that just works there, and they'll just basically play back the content. So they would ask me, hey, could you make this for NBA? And then sometimes they will even be as nice to send me a video back to see how it turned out, like at the event itself, because I can't get to see that because I'm not there. But yeah, I did stuff for NBA. I did other stuff, I think SpongeBob, but it never aired. Like, basically, they wanted me to make a stop motion, or they wanted to help me be like a lead artist to basically the company would make 3D animations, send them to me, and I would convert them to laser and actually make sure that what they were doing was working properly. So I actually made a laser stop motion with them on SpongeBob, and they actually finished it, but they never aired it, which is a shame. But yeah, I did some stuff for TV and stuff for NBA and stuff for Red Bull. And one of the companies I didn't do stuff for was Coca-Cola, because they wanted me to write them a letter to be able to apply. And I was like, a letter? We're living in, 2013? And you're asking me to send a letter and not an email? It was a little bit weird.
I don't know, that's whatever. I mean, I would have wrote the letter, but...
it was just a little bit.
Although I don't write a lot anymore.
Coke,
my writing is awful. And you know what? It's Coke. Fuck Coke. Pepsi is where it's at.
I like Coke, but the thing is,
get out of here.
It's just a way to, it feels like a bit of like pissing around. Like,
right, I feel you. It's like, yo, man, it's 20 fucking whatever.
It's a way to say things nicely. No, and just let people put more effort in getting somewhere. Well, they should probably do that. It's just a little bit ridiculous, but yeah, I've done stuff for the Red Bull Stratos, stuff for Windows 10.
Yeah, you were saying something about that in the Horse Newsroom. You were talking, and I was interested by that. Well, what were you doing with Microsoft?
All right, I didn't work directly with Microsoft. Let's get that out of the way right away.
Okay.
A friend of mine who does a lot of stuff, which got canceled, certainly enough, he asked me beforehand, a while ago, before the Super Bowl, he was asking, hey, I'm going to do an event for the Super Bowl for Pepsi, and I really need your help. And which eventually didn't turn out because they didn't have enough time. But so he asked me again, hey, I need to contact you privately on Skype and ask you something because I'm under an NDA. I can't, which is over by now. But he said he couldn't talk too much about it. And he talked about it to me privately about Windows 10 launch. And he said, I need this made. And could you draw it? And could you give me classes through Skype? And I have done this before, but
sounds difficult.
It's okay because it's all really it depends. When it's natural to you, it's a little bit harder sometimes to explain stuff. But if you really just take it like as if someone is like a child, he doesn't know anything or something like that. Someone who's never used it before. If you explain it like that, it's doable for people. So I did that. I set like my hourly rate, gave him classes over Skype, and started to show him how to do stuff. And and he learned a lot. Not as much as me, but he learned a lot to be able to at least get going. So this company, after this, first of all, I drew the Windows 10 logo for the event, which is the launch party. And they also went to do the background, the hero background for Windows 10. So I wasn't actually there, but the record actually helped making it happen.
Wow.
So it's something.
So on your profile here, it says you're a student at WDKA Academy in Animation. What is that? Can you tell me about that?
Well, like even if you're really good at stuff, if you don't keep improving, you're gonna fall behind at some point or another. It doesn't matter. You will eventually.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if continuing study would, help me, because thinking about this, it's all technical stuff, but when it comes to the graphics, the core of it is still animation. So I thought to myself to apply for an animation college. So I showed them my CV, I think you call that, your resume, and they accepted me in 2 days. I mean, 2 days they accepted me already. And, I started studying there to learn something about tradition.
Where is this place? Is this in the Netherlands or is this in the U.S.? Yes. Oh, it's in the Netherlands. Okay.
Take a plane from the U.S. to just study.
Well, yeah. Not to mention the fucking tuition fees from out of country.
Exactly. And also that if you want to study abroad, you have to pay a lot of money compared to here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there's no real point in... I'd love to study there, but there's just no point. It would be ridiculous. So I started studying there. I learned about traditional animation, learned more about Flash. Actually worked with one of my teachers on an event before I started studying there. So I actually met this teacher. So and I actually got to do a festival where the teacher actually was an owner of. So we knew each other already, which was cool. He's a really cool guy. I got to talk a lot of people, and they really found it interesting. They accepted it as a form that they would be willing to help me improve with, but I needed to follow, of course, the normal classes. I needed to, my drawing skills can use a lot of polishing still, and this is definitely helping. New drawing classes and stuff like that. It really helps, and of course, Flash classes and some. They want to try and make me shift to Maya, and honestly, I don't want to, because I really need to use 3ds Max to make animations. Yeah. So it's a little bit mixed bag thing, but it definitely does help. So it's just for skill. It's not that I need it to or something. It's not that I'm forced to.
I get what you're saying, because I went to university for 5 years. I have a degree in popular music and jazz on the drum kit, and yes, and. Pop, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I don't have a sock on my microphone right now, but my professor always told me, look, if you want to improve, because I thought I was good, but I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere for a long time. And he said, if you want to improve, you need to learn a new instrument, learn other instruments. You need to expand. It'll make you better on your initial instrument. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of comparing that to you right now. Your thing is like the lasers and the laser shows, but you want to get better at that. But the fundamentals of the lasers and the laser shows are the animation and the graphics and all this. And if you can go study that stuff, you can make that better and make your initial passion or what you want to do better or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
A good understanding about the technical stuff is going to help you a lot. And if someone doesn't understand it, then you can be a really good animator or whatever. An artist, it doesn't matter. You will not be able to do anything because you don't know how it works. You need to understand how something works to be able to work with it.
Fundamentals.
At least in most cases, not every time. So this is one of those things. And if you don't understand how it works, then you can go crazy with your mind. But if you don't think between the borders, like art tells you to think outside of the border and think, just completely go wild. But think that things that will work for you. But with the technical stuff, is like you can think whatever you want, but even if you think, wow, what you should do first before you actually start making an idea is if it's not going to work, it's not going to work anyway. So you can go all out, but in the end you can't. Like you have to kind of trade things off. And trying to fight this limitation is of course what you want to do. You want to work around it. You need to figure out other ways to do stuff. Maybe the software is too limited because, this is not as a large industry as, say, a movie industry or animation on YouTube. It's a little bit smaller. It's advanced stuff, but it doesn't have the years of development that animation has, or other tools like 3ds Max or Flash. It just doesn't have it.
Can I ask you, right now, I understand, I don't know if you can talk about this or not. If you can, that's okay. Are you making, aren't you designing projectors and stuff now, or are you...
I actually used to be, this is what I don't like doing, sales. I used to briefly do sales of projectors, where I would buy projectors, maintenance them just in case, if they get damaged during shipping, whatever, and then sell them. But I didn't like that because you have to pick people over, and it's just not, I don't like it. But no, I do make equipment, a lot of it, compared to in the past. I make a lot of it myself because it's cheaper. 2, you have more control of what you're doing, and 3, you can do more because you can make some equipment a lot smarter than other people actually make stuff. They make things at a price point too, and if you are in control, then you can make things within your own budget, within your own kind of needs, which is way better. So yes, I do build a lot of this stuff. Right now, actually, one of the of course, I have this ion laser, which I'm going to be turning on soon, which is a new laser. Though it's actually an old laser, but for me it's new because I used modern lasers before this one. But right now, one of the things I'm venturing in, for instance, is also animatronics. Not that kind of stuff. It's just basically to add to a show. So you have mechanics that work together with a laser show, all in sync together. It's just adding to the experience. It's not.
Are the mechanics driving the lasers, or are they driving something else?
No. The software all takes care of that. I just make the graphics. The mechanics, they're just all parts. They're basically everything in the projector field is all fine. This has nothing to do with it. It's like a separate kind of thing. The only thing there's a bridge between the two where they basically have a time code running like a clock. And basically those clocks sync together, so they make sure that every time you play it back, all the devices play back the time they need to play back the same, in sync. So really I program everything separately in 3 stages. I program the laser show, then I program the animatronics, and then I program the pyrotechnics. So it's kind of like a 3-stage process. It's a lot of time, so I usually only do one of them because it's just really, you can use that. So you can use laser shows you can sell them. With an animatronic, it's very mechanically specific. You can't just sell it off, so it's kind of an extra. It's not actually a major focus. But yeah, that should be.
So you're also CEO of Everest. You said earlier this is your company. Why don't you tell me about that? What's this?
All right. Well, I work as freelance before this,
right?
And freelance is more than fine. Don't get yourself versed into going in a company. This is not really necessary. But I wanted to make it more professional, get a more professional look, and work under a company name instead of as an individual. To appear bigger, because some people in this industry are like macho kind of people who want to give like a big impression more than is necessary. And this is one of those things that I thought of to do that. And honestly, from time, I actually learned that it's not really necessary to do this. If you're just a really good artist or you just deliver good stuff, then it doesn't matter as what name you go under. So working as a company, I usually just go by my own name, actually more than I do by my own company, because it's me making it. I am the company, so it doesn't make much sense. I would still keep it going because there's benefits from working under a company, like tax related stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, most of the time I don't even name my company. I just go under my name, just give them my contact details and say, hey, if you need something, this is me. And they'll usually, almost always come back and ask for more. So,
Brad, I mean, when you go on that vacation to Haiti, right, to wherever, or maybe you want to go to Mexico, let's just write that off. Plane ticket, that was for business. Don't worry about it. No. That bar, all that alcohol I drank, all that cocaine I fucking did. No, that's business. That's business. Don't worry about it. Write that off. Write that off.
It's
right, PJ? That's how you do it.
It's one of the benefits, I guess. But there's just But I feel like working individually as a person is also a little bit better because you're more. It feels like you're more socially in touch with your clients, which is a really good thing because if people like you, they're also offering to help you more. They offer to give you better prices. They offer you to buy products they might not even sell to any other person. Stuff like that. There's a lot of benefits to do stuff as an individual other than just company.
So let's turn this around here. Let's stop talking about this kind of stuff, your professional career. I want to talk about the horses now. I want to ask you, how involved are you in the fandom nowadays? Are you still into this whole pony thing? Or are you kind of whatever? You know, I'm kind of over it. I'm doing other things. I'm working. You know.
I still look at some people like it's. The music, sometimes I feel it's sometimes to listen to, it's a little bit forced because, when they put samples in, I'm like, you don't need to do that. It could have been, good without. But there's a lot of people I still talk to from the community that there's still a lot into it. And I'm totally okay with that. I mean, if you enjoy it, just go right ahead. Just keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And I see some things on Tumblr or Twitter or whatever from art and stuff. I still enjoy art, seeing like really well made art. It doesn't matter what it is. If it looks good to me, I'll like it anyway. Yeah. So I still sort of do, but intentionally making content like as a maker. Yeah. I wouldn't see myself making content anymore. Maybe I'll draw an image next, but not a full show. Definitely not. Right. So if it would be for like Brony music at next, then maybe, but you probably wouldn't even notice it is music. Like the music I would choose probably is the less obvious Brony music, which to me is nowadays more music made by someone who's a Brony than it is actually music containing anything that is related to the show, I guess. So I don't know. It's if it's for making, I'd say only maybe an image or like a drawing or something like that.
Do you still attend a lot of cons? Are you doing shows at cons?
Well, of course I started when I started college. And less time became available, and I had to pass up most of it. And that would mean not being a good guy, a guy that can't plan for shit. Also doesn't make because when it comes to homework, I stall quite a bit. So I usually end up doing it at the last moment, which is not a good habit. So no, I haven't done a convention. I'm going to a convention next year, or it seems I'm going. I can't really 100% say.
Which one are you going to?
Magfest.
Oh, okay.
Magfest.
Might. I can't make the promise. I don't know if it's 100% set in stone yet, but it seems like it. And I'm thinking of doing more conventions eventually. Maybe next year, or maybe later this year. I think next year it's going to be a more convention time again. But for now, I'm going to maybe perform at a festival in several weeks. It's all not set in stone. Right now I'm planning a lot for this summer vacation where time frees up like crazy, which means I can do a lot of stuff that I actually promised to do, which I never ended up doing. Stuff that I just wanted to do, I couldn't because I didn't have time. Other stuff like that. Because I noticed that I've made a lot of promises recently, and I couldn't really get to them, or couldn't get myself motivated enough. Like I've had a long time where I had trouble motivating myself for these non-commercial projects where I just do them for fun, and then just put something down there because I felt like I needed to step up my game, And I was like, I'm not gonna keep stuck in this well where I create stuff but I don't finish it, and I just keep showing it, but people ask me to finish it. I don't. I want to give more finished products, when something is finished, then I'll show it. And in other social networks, I post doodles. That's what I'd rather do. So I wanted to kind of level my YouTube a bit more, and it's been very still because I haven't done that yet. But I still work a lot in the background. This doesn't mean that I stopped or anything.
Of course.
So, but I am going to bring out some new stuff. First of all, I got commissioned an official music video a few times. And one is soon to release. And I also talked to another musician, which he was wondering if I could do a music video for the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of music videos.
So you got a lot of things planned, basically.
Yeah.
You're working hard in the background. PJ, who are you living with right now?
Oh, actually, I live with family because, first of all, I have a lot of space to work here. This place is humongous, and it allows me to do what I want to do for now. Right. There's just a lot of area to work with, and a lot of tools, a lot of like high voltage plugs, stuff like that. And I also don't.
And you don't
pay
the electricity bill.
I partially do.
Oh.
I'm not sure if I want to. Like, I don't hate my country. Don't take it as that. But I'm not sure if I want to keep living here forever. So I don't think it's a really good idea for me to invest in a house or something like that. If I'm not sure if I really
Probably not.
Probably not. So that's one of the reasons why I'm also still.
So how much money do you make a year, man? Come on, be real with me here. How much money are you bringing in from doing all this?
I don't know if I can tell because it's more about that.
You must have a rough estimate or something.
No, I don't really. It's
really?
Because it's increasing though. I can tell you, it's getting more and more each year because things are going really well and people are really happy with the services I deliver. But I can't really tell. I have really no idea. I just do my work and I do book. I let someone else do the whole book work thing because I don't like doing those things. So I can't tell. I just do my work and I just charge whatever I want to charge and you know, I just do what I
make
need.
enough. You're comfortable. You're a comfortable guy. You're still living at home. You're doing what you love. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course I need to be a little bit more aware of it. The thing is, I can move out. I can get a job abroad. I can work at any laser company I want. I actually work with a laser company. Like, I went to Israel recently. I got back there and I actually got a job. It's going to be not... I don't have to be there physically again. I can. I don't have to. But I got work from Israel right now. Like, there's actually laser companies in Israel as well, or at least one big one. And they wanted me to work for them, and same goes for in the U.S. There's a few in Oklahoma, a few in New York City that just asked me, hey, if you're here and you know if you want to visit, you're always welcome, and we'll make sure that you feel at home, or you know they'll ask me if you want to work with me, you know, or something. There's basically a lot of opportunities to be had.
They could probably hook you up with a worker permit or work visa.
That's a good question. I have no idea. I had an internship in the U.S., like I mentioned a little while back, and I could only stay for a while because I didn't have such a visa. And also, there was no need for having me around for a lot longer time because I just did what I want, and I did it right away. And then I don't like taking... Like, I slack sometimes because Steam and games nowadays, but... before then, I didn't used to play games a lot with friends or go on Steam. So I used to most of my free time doing what I like doing, lasers. So I usually got the work done pretty quick. So I didn't have to stay a long time. But yeah, I think they would be able to. I just haven't looked into it. Though, if I had to choose what country to live in, I'd say, though people would argue probably with me here, I'd say maybe the US. I'm not sure.
Well, that's what I figured. Well, there's not a lot in Canada. You'd have to move to Vancouver or Toronto.
Yeah,
and that's all there is. Like,
I don't. Sheldon, no offense, but I don't think Canada was even like a second or third choice. Maybe not even a 10th.
It's not. Canada only has
healthcare. It's more about the healthcare that would be a major factor there. Because
the healthcare, the healthcare is nice here, but the lines and the waiting is really shitty.
Yeah, but you get free healthcare here in the UK as well. Fucking come over here.
I think the UK is really expensive, and I noticed with UK's is actually hell. I have a friend there who I sent stuff to, or actually told him to get certain stuff, and he got that, and he had lots of problems with his with the customs. And there seems a trend in the UK about health and safety that's pretty. They're a little bit overkill on it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So that is definitely a major turn now for me for the UK. And the pound, like the pound's good, but it's for me making the move is really expensive because of that.
No,
because
listen, your best bet is obviously the United States, the media capital of the world. Entertaining capital.
But you
can't. One of the reasons why I choose for it is actually because I don't know all the people there, and it would make it easier for me to visit them more frequently. And when I am with these people, I feel myself, sort of like comfortable. Like it's just, so it would be a reason for me to choose that because I'm not really location dependent in that sense because I do freelance overseas as well through the internet. So it's kind of like.
Surely it does. It is easier.
There's something you said that I want to make clear, though, is that you said that it's hard to import things in the UK. There are some safety laws in the US that prevent you from importing things like
that's right.
Like Kinder Surprise eggs.
Oh yeah, I know because the FDA doesn't want.
Because the FDA are fucking retarded. But here, check this out.
No. Parts in food.
Right. PJ, listen, why don't you do this, man? Why don't you move to Vegas and start doing shows in Vegas? What the fuck are you doing?
Vegas is a really good place. It used to be. In fact, the past, again, I think the 1980s or something, 1995?
Whoa, the 1980s.
1985, something around those times. Pointing a laser in the air is a felony. You can get seriously arrested and charged for it. But back in 1985 or so, in Vegas, if you do that, there's no problem whatsoever. Back then, they didn't really give a shit. So it was an interesting place. I guess it's a cool place to be. But then again, I'm also not a person that's much into gambling and stuff like that.
There's a lot of money there, though.
That is true.
A lot of money for laser shows. So.
That is
You're there
true.
for the treasure, right? That's why you're there. You're not there for the gambling.
A few things.
No.
There's regulations, different kind of regulations in the US that make things more difficult, or they make things more tedious. And with the laser industry, it used to be still is a very, very expensive industry. Equipment is really expensive, but compared to what it used to be, it has gone down significantly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like back in the day, man, even 2006, 2007, 2008, when you started, like compared to now, it must be way fucking cheaper, way more easy to get into.
Some things have gotten a lot cheaper, yes.
In general, all around, right? Not specific. In general,
for a big portion, yes, I'd say, like without a doubt, it's more accessible, which is a worry, by the way, because people can get stuff cheaper, then more people can afford it. And the problem with that is some people that maybe not as responsible will buy it and will use it. And that's what's definitely happening. It's a worry.
How dangerous are these things? Like if I got my hands on it. Yeah, so what can I do?
There is no safe level of laser. You do realize there's no safe level of laser to even.
I mean, I'm not educated in this field. You'll have to explain it to me.
I have to go soon, by the way, but technically there is.
Is there?
Yes, 5 mils.
What about a laser pointer? Those are pretty safe in general. Like I could shine that.
Why don't you put that in your eye? Put it in your eyes.
Well, well, of course, I could find a dangerous situation for anything. I could take this wallet that I have and shove it down your fucking throat, and it'll be dangerous. I mean,
you could try. You could try.
What you should say to yourself is there's no such thing as a safe laser.
Yes.
You can make them safe, but by themselves, they're not. Most pointers you buy, especially the cheap ones, they list that they're 5 milliwatts, which is the reason why 5 milliwatts is safe is the following. It's really simple. When you get a beam in your eye, it focuses down a lot, which makes them a lot strong, like a really strong light, even if they're really weak. But there is a time you have a blink reflex, which basically gives your eyes some time to relax, cool down, give some time to chill. But the reflex is only a certain rate, and with 5 milliwatts, underneath 5 milliwatts, you basically have enough blink reflex to make sure that you won't get any damage on your eyes, in your side of your eyes, on your retina.
So what you're saying is that you can blink.
Yes, blink reflex.
But there is no laser that you could actually look at for any period of time. Right.
On your 5 milliwatts, yes, there is. I would still not recommend shining in your eyes. Just
no, God, no.
But yeah, technically there is. There is. But the thing is, most cheap pointers are actually not 5 milliwatts. Usually if they do that because of regulations to import these things, but usually they have lots of, for example, the greens, they usually have a lot of IR light, which is even dangerous because you don't see it and your eyes won't respond to it, which is dangerous. But most of the lasers are actually they're usually above 5 milliwatts because 5 milliwatts is not a lot of light. So usually they're a lot higher. Sometimes they're even 30 milliwatts or something, which is way higher already than 5. But yeah, you can make these things safe. You can diverge the beam more, so it's more like a floodlight, like a torch, and you still it's still coherent-ish. Just a huge divergence, and it's still very pure color, like the laser. So it's not pointless to do it. And what laser shows, it is you do the similar thing. You make sure the beam diverges by using lenses, or you can actually drop the power in certain areas, like have it be scanning, like outputting a lower laser power in a certain area. But why laser projectors are less dangerous? They can be as dangerous, but they're in general less dangerous than a still standing beam or a beam that you move by your hands, is because these things move at a way faster rate. So they sweep by your eyes multiple times, which is, yes, indeed, also a factor, but they also pass your eyes really quickly. So there's a bigger tolerance towards power when it comes to using it for a laser show than using it for...
So interesting. Wow.
Which is, there's lots of trainings covering it. It's a really complex process.
Sounds like it, man.
But when you use these lasers over people's heads, like where they can't reach them, then you're usually a lot safer already, because you don't get the beam in your eye, for starters. So it can be a difficult thing, but it can also be. It doesn't always have to be rocket science. It depends. It's also a bit of responsibility and thinking what would be a stupid thing to do and what not. And when it comes to shining it in your eyes, in general, it's stupid unless you really know. Unless you really know doing and how to make it safe, you could do it. So PJ, let's move on. If you weren't doing lasers, what would you be doing with your life right now? Right now, I have no idea.
You don't know? You don't have any other hobbies or interests aside from the lasers? You do?
What? I just do electronics. I like making mechanics. That's what I used to like before this.
Right.
So I can do some mechanical stuff, like moving parts, mechanical moving stuff, and use that for purposes of entertainment, which is the whole animatronics deal that's going on right now. I made with a friend. I invested some stuff in software development, and we made amazing software, really, really amazing software, which is extremely powerful. I put it like. It sounds a stupid thing to say, and it's probably going to be stupid sounding, but I put it on par with Disney's kind of software in terms of animatronics. It's really that powerful. You can animate using 3D software.
What's the software called?
It has no name.
You have no name yet? Okay. That's pretty amazing.
You can control up to 512 joints per PC. So you have to link multiple PCs together if you want to do more than 512 joints. But I can tell you will never surpass it anyway. In not by a mile. Like it will be more than enough. But you can control 512 devices. You can use joysticks or other puppeteering tools to control movements, capture it, and play it back. You can have a timeline. You can sync stuff with it. You can use 3D software to animate, which is basically it transfers the 3D movements to the software and records it, or plays it back in real time. You can use lip sync with a camera to do lip sync for a mechanical face. You can use muscle sensors to control certain parts or record your muscles activities to control the animatronic. There's also an autonomous mode on it, which is really basic, and I'm not really intending to use it that often because it makes no sense for me, which is facial recognition, where it can learn names and remember them, and basically when it sees the face again, it can recall who it was. It has speech recognition, which is pre-programmed though, so you only learn the lines that you programmed in the software. And there is a camera inside of the unit, so you can look through the eyes of the thing and put on some goggles to look through the eyes.
Oh my god, this thing sounds so comprehensive. Holy fuck.
It's nauseating though, because it's not local system.
That's exactly how I feel. Very nauseous. Very confusing.
Yeah, you can make entire different. Like I'm actually this summer vacation. I'm working on a very complex project involving that. I have all the materials upstairs because it was a lot to keep in my room here. But it's actually got a 3D model that I'm remaking, and it's going to be an entire mechanical face, which has moving eyes, moving eyebrows, entire moving mouth and lips. It moves. It can make facial expressions. Technically, it can lip sync. It can talk, and it has actual moving, actually working fingers and arms. It's like basically a half body without legs. Which is what I'm going to be using for a show in sync with lasers and the fire technique.
Yeah, I saw you were linking some videos in the Horse Newsroom of this puppet. It had a mouth and it was going along.
That's the old one. Right now, I scrapped it. I actually disassembled it. I got better motors. They're way more smooth because the other ones.
I mean, dude, the thing that I saw, it was fucking cool. It was awesome.
Yeah. So
I thought it was cool.
The most of the parts, what I have the current version, which you can hear here, it's mostly made out of aluminum. But the final version, which is I'm going to be working on the summer vacation, which is for me in 4 or 5 days. 4 days, yes, it's in 4 days. It's going to be a fiberglass frame. So the head's made out of fiberglass, and it has a silicone skin coverage on top of it. So you can manipulate skin to make like mouth shapes. And it's a special kind of special effects skin, which is really like skin, like real skin. And it's also skin tone colored. I have all that material just sitting upstairs. I purchased it for this project. And I have lots of molding materials and other kind of tools like airbrushes that I make myself to save money because they're expensive normally. So I basically, I know a lot of this mechanical stuff because I wanted to, long when I was young before this, I wanted to make my own animatronic. It's not because of Five Nights at Freddy's or anything like that. It's because I always wanted to do it. And now I have the money and now I have the knowledge technical knowledge to realize this. So I'm going to do it. I'm just doing it for the fuck of it. So I'm building that. And I also I contacted some friends who did this before and they actually did movie animatronics. So they explained me a lot of stuff over the course of years, and I bought DVDs, watched them, read books. I delved a lot into this. There's been a lot of years going into this to make from allowing me to be able to start doing this, and it's going to be really cool. Yeah, it's going to be human-like though. This first one.
Hey PJ, what's for supper tonight? What are you guys eating?
I think it's barbecue because it's really warm here. It was 27 degrees, but it's very humid here, so it's really...
Do you guys get snow?
Yes.
Winter?
Oh. Not always, if you're lucky. Usually the snow comes pretty late, but when it does, it's pretty cool. So I'm more of a summer person, I guess, yeah.
Well, who isn't? I don't get people like that. I love winter. Winter's so great. I love the cold. Oh, shut up. No, you don't.
No. Here's the thing. Winter, like, you can put on as many layers as you want to warm yourself up. Summer, there comes a point where you can't take off any more clothes to cool down, or you literally can't do anything else to cool down.
I'm sorry, I like winter. It's real nice down here, 70 degrees.
Oh, God.
It's pretty good.
Anyway.
70 degrees is not winter.
Yeah.
Talking about dinner, by the way, I actually have dinner right now. I'm actually passing. Like, I'm waiting.
Okay.
It's okay. If you have any questions, though, I'll just answer them still. Like,
does
you guys still
have any questions?
I mean, I don't have any more questions for you, man. This was really cool, though. I mean, fucking.
Yeah.
I assumed at the beginning, you're clearly very busy and you have a lot of things going. So you guys who check out are wondering what the fuck's with this guy's YouTube channel? He's not.
It's Master PJ 55535.
Yeah.
We've got it linked in the chat. So in the description.
I'm gonna explain all this, but I was gonna say, all you guys wondering or who are gonna be watching and wanted to know what the fuck's with this guy's content? Why isn't he uploading anything? What's going on? As you obviously just heard, he's busy doing a lot of different shit. over time, you'll probably see something, but he's a busy man.
I think it's recently, but yeah.
You know what you should do when you get some animatronics down or some cool things? You should throw that online. I'd like to see more of that.
Of course, that's the whole point why I'm making them. The thing is this: I might be using one for MegFest. That's the thing.
Oh, great!
The thing is, this character I'm making is really complex and it's going to be really advanced and really cool, and I'm really hyped to show it when it's basically when I start actually sculpting the shape, which I tried a lot of different ways to do this, and I found the way to do it properly now. Once I'm actually going to get started, which is in about 5 days from here, the process is going to go really quick. With regards to the next video, of course, the first video is going to be a music video, and I have all the equipment ready to do that video. It's like in 4 days, I'm a free man. I have the entire summer vacation. I'm going to travel. I'm not going to go on vacation. I'm probably maybe going to go for a week or something for work. Like I have a guy who's going to send me over to work for a short time in the USA. I don't know where yet. And after that, I'm just during this all the time I have free. I'm going to do shit. I'm going to produce stuff. I'm going to put it on YouTube. It's basically a lot of updates because I have my head free of any college. There's nothing I have to focus on. Maybe some small assignments every now and then. I don't know. It depends. Maybe big assignments. Probably yes. But yeah, this is what I'm going to focus my vacation on. Projects all the time.
Fantastic. Thank God for the summer. So, guys, you can follow PJ. His link is in the description for his channel. Follow him on Twitter. I'm assuming you make a lot of tweets, you updates or whatever, right? And his DA, if you want to check out his DA, it's also in the description.
My DA?
Yes,
there's a picture of M.A. Larson drawn in lasers on it. It's fantastic.
He saw it. Yeah, I was in France in Paris, and I showed him. I made it for him, and I projected it, and he was laughing so hard.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'm not sure if you have seen it. I once posted a drawing or a projection of a drawing he made, which is looks like a pregnant final scratch. It looks terrible, but it's hilarious. He drew it on the back of my name tag. So because we were having dinner at some point with M.A. Larson, and I had him eat escargots, which are slugs, and he was not really happy to eating them. So it was really funny. It's a cool guy.
Corp. Hey Corp, why don't you throw that up on the stream here, or so people can check it out later when they're watching?
Yeah,
this,
where is
that
this
Larson thing?
What that he drew.
Yeah, I have it. It's on my page. It's easy for me to find it back. It's going to take a few seconds. Hold on. Scroll. I think it's I think I got it. Hold on. Oh my God. Gotta love that dial-up kind of connection. Found it.
I see M.A. Larson.
Here it is. This was the drawing. The original. The one and only.
Oh gosh.
Oh, nice! That
belongs in a museum, my friends.
Oh, geez, that's fantastic.
Contemporary, fucking avant-garde masterpiece, of course.
I really like how the laser version captures how awful the original was.
It's exactly like this.
Awesome.
Oh, jeez.
All right, guys. I guess we're gonna cut it here then. Everybody have a great night. We have no guest this Friday, of course. Some things have come up regarding the guests, so if you want further detail on that, just go ahead and ask, because I don't feel like explaining it. It's too long.
4th of July.
I'm tired. Enjoy. Yes,
Canada Day for
July.
you. Canadians.
And if you're in Canada, July 1st, Canada Day tomorrow. Have a great time.
All right. See you, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks, Pete.
Bye.
Thanks. Yeah, this is going to be fun. See you later.
All right. See ya.
So.
So why
the video right after the show?
Why isn't there a show on Friday? What happened with the guest?
Okay, so our guest on Friday was this chick who made this video on X video of this after-tax button, shoving it up to her feet and masturbating with it. We were like, oh, this chick would be hilarious to get on, right? We should do that. So got in contact with her. She agreed, right? And then her name is Abby, and she sent me a contact Pixar for